She'll make it out, but she's never the same. She's looking down. I kinda feel like it don't make sense, cause you're bringing me in and now you're kicking me out again. Love so strong, then you moves on. Somewhere you can't escape, I'll keep you safe. Intoxicated in a room full of frozen faces. Put it on me. I am anyone you want me to be. Put it on me. If you wanna see this clothes on me, put it on me. I am anyone you want me to be.
In the bathroom and in the club too. It's like a monsoon, I wanna hate you. Ugh. You took my hand. 'Cause your love is my drug. Your love. Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone. I'll be waiting. All that's left to do is run. You'll be the prince and I'll be the princess. It's a love story. I'll never know if what you say is real. I'll never know how I'm supposed to feel. So it's 'cause of you, you got me like oh la la. I want you like oh na na. What's after like? Well, you're the best I've ever seen, and I'm your dying beauty queen. Take me through the darkness. Pressed to your cheeks, a long way from the playground. Tonight we're going hard, 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 just like the world is art, 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 art. Something so sentimental, you make so detrimental. You can't shame me when I am with you. There's no place I'd rather be. Cause I like your flavor, my managed behavior, I'm into your major. Sweet and so flavor, that's good for this player. My hood now and later, throw back like a pager. Pretty much you give me a sugar rush. Lil' mama give me high blood pressure when you gun. Into the real world, 다가온 climax. 두려워하지 마. come close, baby, would you like that? If I give some, would you give it right back? If I show you that I know where it's at, baby, would you like that? Baby, would you like that? Say you won't laugh, boy, you know what that means. Make you feel way better than in your dreams. If I show you that I know where it's at, baby, would you like that? Baby, would you like that? If I come close, baby, would you like that? If I give some, would you give it right back? If I show you that I know where it's at.